Yusjin is asleep at Sentinel Manor,
Oh,
and
is this what you were talking to me about, Fred?
something along those lines. Yeah,
Oh boy.
completely hypothetically. Uh, Yusjin is asleep at Sentinel Manor, and all is well, and he's getting his probably last good night of sleep in the entire fucking campaign. At which point, he has a pretty cool dream. All things considered, and well, he Yushin finds himself lucid dreaming. And as he finds himself lucid dreaming, I'm not even going to roll a check to have him realize, oh yeah, I usually don't lucid dream like this. This is probably a weird magical dreamscape. Because Yushin's also dealt with magical dreamscapes like 3 different times over the course of this campaign. So, even without a check, Yushin suddenly realizes as he's dreaming that someone is casting Dream on him. And someone is trying to contact him in his dreams. As he does so, he may be surprised to find that the person attempting to contact him in his dreams is in fact his old pal Neji. You end up having a lucid dream of Sandpoint itself, and you dream yourself walking around Sandpoint, but it's one of those lucid dreams and you're also like able to immediately recognize it as a dreamscape. And the only person in this dream who you realize is not part of your imagination, as like the Sandpoint dissolves around you, is in fact Neji. Though he does look slightly different than the last time you saw him.
He's wearing a veil over his head.
Oh, did you convert?
Convert to what?
Another religion that I don't know about. A pleasure to see you, Neji. I've not had the time to talk to you recently. Is there a reason you wanted to contact me through unconscious dreams?
Yes. And I think your guess is surprisingly extremely accurate.
Uh-huh.
See, a lot has happened over this past sleep.
Like 3 days at this point.
Yep, I've had a lot over these past days. I've been in the works of my own little thing, and I've discovered some of my own knowledge that I think you would love to know.
Please do tell.
So, tell me, what do you think of the Sihedrian runes we see? Just about the places. What do they mean to you?
They mean a lot of things to me. Ever since we founded the Sentinels, we adopted the Sihedrian as our own mark. And it makes me think of the people who I started it with. I am the only remaining founding member. Most of them have perished or abandoned us. But I also think of Karzog, and everything he's put us through. And everything he might do if we fail. So I look upon it with mixed feelings, both with pride and with, admittedly, fear.
You know where this symbol comes from?
It comes from ancient Thassalon. I've done much research on it.
Do you know who created this? Or who this symbol represents?
As far as I know, it represents the 7 sins and the 7 empires of Thassalon, Zinchalast, and the many others.
As far as my understanding is, there's a different individual this symbol represents.
By all means.
Seushin Thassalon wasn't this great empire that was only run by the Rune Lords. They were present, but they were not exclusively present. As I've come to understand it, Thassalon is a great place, ruled by a great goddess. And her name is, wow, I forgot to pronounce it. Lenina.
Lasala.
Lasala. I'm so sorry.
Do you recognize that name?
Yushin will recognize the name Lasala. It's definitely not something he spent a huge amount of time on, but you are aware that ancient Thassalon had a goddess 10,000 years ago of something magic, runes, slavery, obeying your masters, that kind of thing. She's kind of been dead for the better part of a few thousand years, so not a huge amount of information, but you'll know she existed historically.
Mhm.
There's a lot of misunderstanding around, assuming you do know of her.
Yes, vaguely. Generally my research leaned more into what we could glean from Karzog's weaknesses or what we could take advantage of, which admittedly is a bit short-sighted, though finding out about their culture is certainly more difficult. But by all means, do tell. It is one of the reasons I came to Sandpoint in the first place.
Uh, she once was a god who believed in a balance of the people, a happiness where order was followed, but it wasn't trying to make it a pure haven of all things beautiful. It was a mix of neutrality. And that's something I believe in as well. And
I would agree for the most part.
see, a lot of people, or maybe not a lot of people, but those who know of Lasala believe her dead. Now, this is not inherently true. See, she still exists. And
And would I be correct to assume she exists in the form of a sword?
you would.
Oh, shit! Fuck, you're seeing right through my plots.
I had a feeling.
And she has called upon me to be her high priest. And Neji removes the veil. And you see the Sahedrian rune on his face.
And he's also like an inch taller now.
Oh, did you put some heels on?
I don't believe so, but it's almost like my bones kind of grew.
Huh. Well,
So
then, by all means, I support this endeavor.
I'm
In
glad.
my own efforts to chase divinity, I admittedly try to seek some sort of balance. Many gods are gods of the extreme, as you
Yes.
would know.
See, Lasala fears that you mean for the destruction of all things Thessalonian, which would include her.
By absolutely no means. I
No?
simply recognize Karzog's cruelty, and I hope to prevent it. In all honesty, I'm actually quite a big fan of his. It's just, well, I've made a vow to rid him.
We do not
But
we do not oppose this. We are very much in favor of the destruction of Karzuk as well.
but by no means would I have ever destroyed Thassalon. It is the core of much of my research, after all. If
I'm so
anything, I
glad
seek
to
to
hear
preserve
this.
it, at least as much as I can, within reason.
And as Yuzjin says that, I'm going to say a third voice is going to enter the chat. I turn on my voice changer, but you guys hate it so much that I'm not going to use it.
You do your own voices, man. You always do good voices.
We like your voices.
A female voice, that I will try my best not to do the Emily voice for, will speak and say, "You cannot destroy Thassalon, Yuzjin, because Thassalon was already destroyed." At which point, a third figure is going to enter the dreamscape with a very unique appearance. She is, you will see from basically from the waist down, she is a Lamia, much like Fred's GF. Her scales are withered and like not rotting, but like falling off. From the waist up, she is a woman with dark skin and again, sort of rotting flesh. Her neck ends in a Sahedrian, She's holding a stone tablet, and she has 7 pointed wings around her back, arranged in a familiar pattern, with a floating laurel atop the Sahedron.
A pleasure to more properly meet you.
Your words strike me as odd, for what I have seen of the Sentinels of Sandpoint has given me fear that you would destroy anything with my holy symbol upon it.
I would not blame you for that assumption. Many of the Sentinels are admittedly quite impulsive, and I am willing to admit they've rubbed off on me to some extent. And much of that is because we simply did not understand the Sihedrian. Especially in early days, we thought that it had such power it could affect us, even just the drawing, without any sort of enchantment, though perhaps that was a mere miscommunication. Though
One
as it
cannot have a
stands,
miscommunication with history. I have been gone for the
Lord,
better part of several centuries.
but my point stands. Like I said, I would like to preserve Thassalon. After all, I studied it for many years, even before being wrapped up in all this. It is part of the reason I wanted to come to Sandpoint. And yet,
The problem with the Sahedrian, for while the Sahedrian is me and I am its creator, the Sahedrian took on a whole new meaning once Thassalon was founded by a good and long since past friend of mine by the name of Zin. We founded Thassalon to get away from the empire of the Aslants, to get away from their gods, their horrible culture, their slavery, their backwards way of wizard thinking. Empire of Thassalon was founded on progress, was founded on free thinking, was founded on the idea that we could defend magic and study wizards in a way that was liberating from the dominating ideals of Aslant at the time. I went from a admittedly very small cult with a dedicated following to the patron goddess of an entire empire. That empire reigned for thousands of years in the name of progress, in the name of science, in the name of goodwill. And it was only after the passing of Zin and the squabbling of the Rune Lords that I, in my moment of weakness, did I allow them to corrupt my vision. The Sahedrian went from a symbol of progress to the 7 virtues of rule that I preached, to a symbol of hatred, to a symbol of the 7 deadly sins, and from there onto our flag, and eventually became an emblem of the decadence of the Thessalonian rule itself. The empire that Karzugan... Sorry.
He tilts his head as he listens intently, and he continues as... Then what happened?
The empire that Karzug inherited I'd use the term shadow of its former self, but the empire that he inherited was already on the way down. I tried, in ways that I have revealed to my disciple, to fix things. It wasn't so much... Well, let me open my cool Google Doc that I wrote a few days ago. It wasn't so much that the empire itself caught fire, that I realized things were not quite going according to plan. It hadn't been a sudden thing, mind you. It wasn't one day that everything was fine and the next day that the realm had torn itself apart in flames. Indeed, the first time I noticed all of the Rune Lords fighting each other, it almost felt like a natural part of the ecosystem. They had all tolerated each other in centuries past, but such tolerance over the course of a scant few decades, barely a blink of my eyes, had turned to outright war. Shalast declared war on Baccaran. Baccaran built giant towers to defend against the onslaught of Shalast. Shalast mustered entire giant armies to charge forth across the oceans towards Baccaran, and I tried my best to stomp out the fires, but In my apathy and my disinterest, as my people continued to sacrifice towards me, I assumed everything was in the clear. That long as I was receiving souls to snack upon, that meant things were going well, right? Why get in the way and micromanage things? It was only really when I noticed that everyone was killing each other that the Empire had been at war for centuries at least, that things were going bad. I tried to stamp out the fires where I could, but everything just seemed to go horribly wrong. I would destroy one people, and 3 more problems would come in its place. Each of the Rune Lords would ask me for different favors, and I would grant them, and it would only create more problems. And the entire budgetary department ran into themselves and began animating people, and zombies were animated as more zombies, and the Rune Lord of Pride said his things, and he put down my thing, and I fucking murdered him. And then they started worshipping this god called the Peacock Spirit. I think made it up just to spite me. And then it was the meteor. It was a massive meteor. A meteor the size of Galarian itself, one of cataclysmic proportions. The ancient remains of an unborn poison planet, created to destroy the entire human race who had dared defy their masters of Aslan. Your race was created by fish people, and you hated them, and the fish people killed you in return. That is what happened. That is what happened to Aslan and Thassalon. The Aeon Star is what it was called. It was a giant meteor cast from beyond the stars by the Agathul to rain down, destroy humanity, and destroy Galarian itself. The mortals bickered and fought. The gods of Aslan and myself decided it was over. And I spent the final hours of my life alone, away from everyone else, consumed by my failures. Consumed that the entire dream that I had built up for your race was now ash, blown away by the very winds that the Aeon Star was to erase from existence. The end of humanity arrived and destroyed the world. How your race is still around, I cannot tell you. But for centuries after the end of Thassalon, there wasn't a single human anywhere to be found. I chose my current form as penance. I chose my current form because I no longer consider myself a deity. I chose my current form because without worshippers, I will wither and die unless I consume what keeps me going. Souls. The only reason I have lasted as long as I have is because magical swords are always in demand, and people will always kill each other. I hope that does excuse my hunger.
I never blamed you for your hunger. I understood, well, it may be an odd comparison, but I once had the same. I was inflicted with vampirism, even if it was only a slight amount. And I understand what it's like, even if it is fueled by a different thing.
I'm not sure I believe you understand the same level of hunger that it is for me to simply manifest it like this, but I will take your word for it. If only because fate has forced us to be allies. As one of my last upstart pupils, somehow, for reasons I don't quite understand, survived the destruction of our realm and wishes to recreate Thassalon as a foul mimicry of the empire means and created it as. I wish to see the rebirth of Shalast. I do not wish to see the rebirth of Shalast with Karzug at the helm.
Well, that doesn't sound like an unachievable goal, if I have to be completely honest.
This
And
is
to be honest,
why
I've been looking for a new retirement plan.
I can't say I'm interested in appointing more Rune Lords, but I've asked Neji, and I have appointed him my High Priest to assist me in this task. to create Thassalon as it was intended to be, as it was under the 7 virtues of rule, before being corrupted into the 7 virtues, into the 7 sins of Thassalon, and the 7 sins of the Rune Lords. I understand one wizard cannot rule it all. That was the whole reason Zin created the 7 Rune Lords in the first place. But given your race has somehow survived this cataclysm, whether some of you survived the fall of the Aeon Star, or perhaps Galarian was reseeded by humanity at a later date, I do not know. But if humanity is still here and mortal race is still here, I wish to give the experiment of Thassalon a try again. Neji has given me something I have not felt in a long time. Hope.
And I hope to aid you as well. Our goals are aligned, and it would seem many of our morals are too. I will not lie to you and say that I'm a perfect man. I am certainly greedy, though not as much as Karzog, I'll admit. But
and I'm not a perfect
in order
goddess. My people gave me prayers in my early days. It was only when people started offering me human sacrifices that I developed a bit of a sweet tooth. That is the only reason the souls of the living sustain me to this day. But if our goals are aligned, this has been more productive than I thought it would be. Thank you.
Did you expect anything less?
I expected you to smash everything with the Sahedron upon it.
No, that
has that not been what you've been doing this entire several last years?
Like I'm all right. Listen, out of character, that was because of a miscommunication between you and I.
I know that's the joke.
But he will say, "Well, I did wear the emblem of. I did wear the Sahedron for like 5 years. To be fair,
the scrying device that Kazug was using to spy upon you. Yes, he watches you from his rune well.
I'm sure he got plenty of entertainment. Sentinels are a colorful bunch.
Very. From what I've seen digging through Neji's mind, you've certainly accomplished much more than I have in the last 10,000 years.
Well, hopefully we can change that in the near future.
You are not opposed to the rebirth of Thassalon?
No. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big empire kind of guy. I am big on freedom, but the truth is that humans need leadership.
This world around us, it is called Varsnia, yes, now?
Yes.
In days long past, this was called Shalast. Varsnia is disunified. From my understanding, there is a central government in this region, but they essentially allow their people autonomy. And while autonomy is not in and of itself a bad thing, that autonomy has that has not allowed different things to manifest. There are no roads. There are no police. There are no tax collectors. There is no central authority. There is no central bank. There is no central commerce location. Freedom is fine, but freedom leaves roads in disrepair and leaves the people without safety. Empires can be tyrants, yes, but empires collect taxes which can be used to fuel those public services. And
well, that's actually funny you mentioned that. One of my retirement plans, assuming I survived Karzog, was to form the Sentinels Guild. I've only spoken to Fred about it, but it was that I was going to use all of the wealth we have, or at least all the wealth I have accrued over these years of hunting Karzog, and I would create a guild that would at least help a little bit. Obviously, it's impossible to do everything for the people, but we can make their lives easier, or at least safer.
By doing what? Building roads, hunting bandits, pacifying the land?
Not so much building roads, but supplying and supporting people like us. People who just have a dream and they want to make a difference.
Adventurers?
Sure, adventurers somewhat, but why stop there?
You
There are
want to.
plenty of good souls with no fortunes that need support to get on their knees and then onto their feet.
So charity
Most
work?
people,
You want to create a
well,
charity work?
I hesitate to call it that, but I suppose that is not entirely incorrect.
What if that is what you seek and you wish to improve the life of the most amount of people with the most amount of money? What if I was to appoint you head of infrastructure development in this newly reborn empire?
Perhaps.
So you would be in
To be
charge
honest, I
of
don't really care how it's done. I just want to make our lives better.
Fasalon. If created, Fasalon brings roads, Fasalon brings ridges, Fasalon brings temples for faith, physical security, and safety as its highest priority. We went to the stars, Yuzjin. I wish to go back.
Then we shall.
Wonderful. I'm glad we are aligned. And Neji feels like in the back of his mind, like this 10,000-year-old woman just going like, yes, 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 holy shit, yes, oh my god, that went perfect, oh my god. But like trying her best not to show that to Yuzjin.
Honestly, this is why I wanted to speak to Yushin first. I knew he would be on board. I was worried if this was a big group discussion, it wouldn't go over as smooth.
Well, you're still going to have to sell the rest of the Sentinels on this, Neji, but I think the biggest hurdle is done.
I doubt that will take much effort, honestly. Fred is an understanding soul, and the other three are. Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't think they give a shit. It's not their home planet after all. They just want to kill Karzog.
No one else has the interest in the rebuilding of Thassalon?
I mean,
They're not from here.
like I said, Luciano and Dwayne
Maru.
are outsiders. Mera, perhaps, he has mentioned he wanted plans to settle here with his automaton brethren, though that is yet to be decided. However, if that is to be decided, I think he would actually be quite on board. His plans involve, well, to be honest, they do involve infrastructure, just a different kind.
I have no problem with automaton inherently, so long as they do not intend to rise up and kill everyone.
Well, I mean, that's a threat you have to deal with humans as well.
True. That's the downside of order. But I assure you they will be treated fairly and without prejudice.
I have no doubt you can fulfill that.
Wonderful.
No.
I'm not sure what else to say, 'cause that actually went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. Damn.
Well, I suppose that makes us coworkers now.
My name
I know you
is Lissa, the Sahedrian Scion. A pleasure to meet you.
It is a pleasure to meet you too. Though apologies if I don't immediately begin to worship. I know you are a deity, but
I don't consider
moment,
myself
we
a deity
are
anymore.
coworkers and friends.
Then let it be so.
I consider myself a follower.
I know you do, Neji. And
Well,
perhaps one
a follower
day,
can
if
still be a friend.
indeed,
I mean, I get my spells from you, so
I am not going to enforce any sort of. Where is the scroll? I am not going to enforce any sort of worship upon you, but if you would grant your permission, I wish my priest to construct a temple in your town of Sandpoint. I have been without followers so long that it hurts. At which point, see Discord, this is the mechanical downside of Neji worshipping a dead god.
I gotta kill people. I gotta kill people.
This is the reason Blackrazor was in a bitchy mood when you found her, because she had 16 negative levels.
I gotta feed her. So
Well, with that said, I would be happy to help fund. I mean, my pockets are admittedly a bit light, but we have quite the moving power in Sandpoint. Even with the meager money I have, I could still construct something small.
I already put like 20K into this thing.
Oh, you're fine then.
If it is money you seek, then do not believe. And I believe the coffers of Shalast will be able to provide. In
I have no
Shalast, Karzug paved the streets with literal gold. The poorest houses were studded with emeralds, and the richest of houses had diamond rooftops. In Shalast is a emerald and precious stone mine that will last generations. You will not be without coin.
Lovely.
That is not to say I wish to see the temple, one of my greatest cities and greatest temples, pillaged, but so long as it is replaced with something equally grand, I'm okay with that sacrifice.
I feel like the grandness of it may have contributed to its downfall. Sometimes it's better to be a bit more humble.
Alas. And
Though
humble is
perhaps that's
exactly how
just
I've been
me.
feeling the last 10,000 years.
Well, maybe you'll start to like it.
Indeed. A pleasure working with you going forward. And she will
Said.
extend a hand towards you.
He will gladly shake it.
She'd also like to cast Arcane Mark on you to create a Sidron on your forehead if you'll let her.
I went on the back of my shoulder. I'm not big on face tattoos.
Alright, cool. She Arcane Marks your shoulder.
Mine's
Lovely.
covering like my whole face. It's like forehead to chin.
Yeah, see, you're a cleric though. Or I guess you're more of a warlock than a cleric now, but mechanically you're a cleric.
That's funny.
You worship this almost deity. Anyhow, unless you have any other questions for Lissa, I think that's it.
Not exactly, really.
Awesome. Cool. End scene.